Thank you so much, moderator, Lucy, great excellency, distinguished guests. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the organizer for having this maybe third session of the Summer Institute. Special tribute, of course, to Ambassador Kenyon and Professor Cohen, the key player, and of course Rututi as the acting director, to be able to gather one forum, one space in the ASEAN context like this, where we can actually talk and discuss frankly about our challenges among us and engaging our dialogue partners, experts from outside ASEAN. This is one of the goals of ASEAN, is the process itself. My session, I think our session here, is actually very much related with what has been discussed yesterday in the second panel, particularly the second panel, on the opportunity and challenges, rule of law from business and private sector. And of course, the presentation from my colleague, my fellow from Commissioner from Suakan on digital economy and human rights. I am very happy, especially yesterday, that we have the key relevant sectoral bodies in ASEAN, organs within ASEAN, who are here and had a very, very frank discussion. I have noted some of the issues, some of the pending questions, or some acknowledgement that issue whether or not working as a region as what we have already done in the last 51 years is one way to go. I think there was a voice yesterday in the discussion. Because there are anyway a lot of institutions, specialized institutions on a different aspect of WTO, like WIPO and everything, who is already discussing and developing things, to regulate all matters related to trade and investment. At the same time, we have also heard the noises, not the noises, but the voice. Yes, as a group, as ASEAN, we have achieved something as a region, especially after the adoption of the Charter, when ASEAN is becoming a legal entities. The other things which came up in the discussion yesterday, we could have done, we could have achieved much more than what we have achieved in the last 51 years. If only all regional commitments are implemented. And then we had a discussion why regional commitments are not implemented, or it's difficult to be implemented. And it goes back to the issue, of course, to the core, the character of ASEAN as a member state-driven regionalisms. Member state-driven regionalism means nothing is going to be changed unless there's a leadership, there are changes at the national level. What the ASEAN Secretariat can do is actually helping member states, supporting member states. And I regret actually this time that I haven't really noticed the ASEAN Secretariat from all sections, from the economic pillars, from the human rights, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know all phases, but I noticed that we missed the ASEAN Secretariat. Mr. Ong, I think you agree with me. You as an SG before knows how important the Secretariat is to make things rolling and to actually support member states and actually then build the regionalisms. That is my opening comments. Let us go now to the right to development in the ASEAN Economic Community. Right to development is one of the specific rights which is actually agreed by 10 member ASEAN states. It is actually recognized all over the world that the first idea of right to development as rights, because before it was no rights, it became its rights when it was declared in 1996. And it is a combination of individual rights and collective rights, and particularly that the right to development is a collective rights. So there are other two collective rights in the context of ASEAN Investor Declaration, is the right to peace. And then, as it is now, right to peace is not yet the human rights. It is a result of all things. When other rights are fulfilled and protected, then you can have peace. But of course, as a political, as a declaratory, inspiring documentation, right to peace can be one of the priority of ASEAN. But it is being the case of ASEAN. One of the ASEAN achievement is actually to maintain peace in this region in the last 51 years. I like to echo what has been said by my colleague, Dr. Sini. Sometimes we forgot, or we take for granted about we as member state. If I'm a member state, there is a legally binding norms of a state, which is actually include rule of law, human rights, good governance, and respect for fundamental freedoms. And the further question is, what and how are you going to implement that legally binding norms? That's the challenge. How are you going to monitor it, evaluating it, and then going back to the cycles of improving the rights, the rule of law, and democracy? We didn't hear so much of democracy yesterday, but it is very much related in one package. Democracy, rule of law, human rights, and good governance is one package. You cannot separate that. One can have rule of law, without respecting human rights. Or rule of law while violating human rights. Rule of law in one sector, but at the same time you are violating human rights in another sector. So that's why democracy, rule of law, human rights, and good governance is one package or parcel which cannot be separated. Just to remind you about the structure, we, ASEAN here, has actually built this kind of structure. We don't have this thing before 2009. We have these things now. The ASEAN, the commissions, the IHR, the ACWC, and ACNW are very happy to see all of you. I mean, not all reps are here, but at least the bodies is represented by some of the representation. Now, ASEAN Court is always in doubt. ASEAN Human Rights Court I'm talking about. Right to development was drafted by 10 member states. By IHR, who was tasked by the minister to have an agreement among the 10 countries what rights are in the context of ASEAN member states, in the context of the 3 pillars of cooperation. I was quite, how to call that, it's not really happy, but yeah, I was quite not really surprised, but I like that statement. When Ambassador Young said, Ambassador Ong said yesterday, well, as ASEAN, we used to focus on the economic community. Now that we have the 3 communities, we are now still struggling how to become one community. I think that's a very, very striking statement from her, and that's why this process is part of what we're trying to do as one community. The right to development, which was actually, as I said, it became signed globally in 1996, and the development of those rights, that means 30 years ago, it goes along with the development of the international cooperation in terms of international standards and norms. Working in silo is not unique in ASEAN as well. Even in the UN context, maybe my colleague can also say that, they are also working in silo. The climate change process, the environmental process, the human rights process, the criminal justice process, the 3 pillars are actually dealing with the same issue. And it was quite difficult for this, through all pillars, then to integrate themselves. So it's not a unique thing in terms of international cooperation. In the right to development, it goes in the development also of the norms where environmental rights is also becoming human rights. It was only in 2009 when the Office of High Commissioner conducted a study how environmental is actually very much related with the human rights protection and fulfillment. And since then, the resolution came out from the body and they actually declared that environmental rights is a human rights. On the discussion of the post-MDG, we have seen the pillar of climate change and the pillar of the human rights is trying to work together and came out with one global commitment on the Sustainable Development Goals. So all this development is also reflected in the ASEAN and in the negotiation when we drafted the right to development in ASEAN. 3 articles. When you try to phrase it in one sentence, it becomes like this. The ASEAN member state should mainstream the multidimensional aspect, multi-pronged aspect of development and right to development into the relevant areas of ASEAN community building and beyond. And shall work with the international community to promote equitable and sustainable development. Should be equitable development. Development should be a sustainable development through fair trade. Fair trade means a trade, a balanced trade. We heard yesterday in the discussion. We didn't actually against trade, but we do agree with the balanced trade. Fair trade practices, effective international cooperation. It is so well formulated by all 10 drafters at that time that it actually covers the whole norms which is actually already going on globally at the time. And now it is time to implement it. Let us go back and how how we have implemented this right to development, which is becoming a commitment of ASEAN as one entity. Again, I echo what Dr. Siri said yesterday. We cannot work only on our sectoral bodies. We do work in our sectoral body, but we have to think as a one ASEAN. That means opening up many kinds of collaboration, the cross-pillar collaboration, the cross-sectoral collaboration within the pillar. I think that's one of the progress after the charter was there. The awareness of all sectoral bodies that they cannot achieve anything without being open to other sectoral bodies and to other sectoral bodies in the other pillar of cooperation. Let me now go to this when rapid development is already become a right in the ASEAN. And how are we going to approach? How are we going to implement that? I think we do understand about the approach. And actually the approach is already there in the concept of when UDHR is trying to be implemented in the context of development. It's called rights-based approach. Academically they say, well, right-based approach. There's going to be another approach because it is not an internationally accepted norms. You know, one member state can argue like that. But it is a tool which is provided by the Office of High Commissioner, and it is actually agreed by all experts of the human rights that in a way to implement the right development in a nice word is actually really understanding what right-based means, right-based approach means. So, right-based approach to development, it is a development goals, a development set, the achievement of human rights as an objective of development. So, objective of development is not only the economic growth, it's not only the Gini coefficient, it's not only number of workforce that has been absorbed, but it is also looking at whether the human rights indicator is actually achieved. So it is a set of goals. It uses thinking about human rights in the scaffolding development policy. It invokes international apparatus of human rights accountability in support of development action. In all of this, it is concerned not just civil and political rights, but also with economic and social rights. A right-based approach to development identifies the underlying and usually long-term, I said long-term political, economic, social, cultural reason why some groups are poor, why some groups are marginalized, discriminated against. It then helps these groups to gain voice, to claim their rights, to be able to influence the power relationship that marginalize them. So, human rights-based approach is applying a political process, political empowerment for the powerless. Yesterday we heard about the discussion on how are we going to help the SMEs? How are we going to help them? What are the problems? Let's talk with them. That's good. But before we do talk to them, the analysis of why they are so difficult to progress is very much a human rights analysis. With that analysis, based on that analysis, then you will be able to have a dialogue, you will be able to understand what their problems are. The elements of rights-based is quite clear and stipulated in the ASEAN Human Rights Declaration. It is participation, and participation means it requires freedom to get information, freedom to receive a correct information in timely manner, freedom to participate in the public space, freedom to participate in a formulation of policy which is related to development. That's participation. And accountability. All things which is conducted in the process of participation from the duty bearer and the rights holders, that has to be accountable. And it is accountable. One way to do it is to have the mechanisms of enforcement, mechanisms of monitoring, mechanisms of evaluation. The other fundamental element in a right to development approach is the empowerment. I think my colleague from the Global Compact agree with that. The empowerment is one key word in the context of right to development. And of course, in this whole process of the right-based approach, all the things in the analysis will be linked with elements of rights in the ASEAN Declaration. Thus, it different with the needs-based approach. What is the difference? Needs-based approach and a human rights approach. Even in the discussion of the ASEAN forging ahead, there is still some discussion. Correct me, but you were one of the drafter of the ASEAN Vision 2025. This is still the issue. In one of the community pillars, there's still discussion. No, need-based approach is more appropriate for us. It is not a human rights-based approach, my friend. Human rights-based approach is equipped with elements which I already said, and it provides and it gives an impact. Need-based, yes, it does provide at that time, you know, in the context of humanitarian action, that's the needs-based process. You analyze the need and then you give it. Yeah? But human rights-based approach, after you give it, there will be an impact after that. After you help, there will be an impact that he will then self-help mechanisms is developed. I have another 5 minutes. Let me go back to the HRRC recommendation and the dialogue with the Three Community Council in 2015. One that I say here, the challenge is very clear in front of us, this regional challenges mentioned. There should be a better communication, coordination between HRRC and various central bodies found in the ASEAN Community Council. And I'm happy to hear that last year, HRRC was able to have a dialogue with the COM. That is the thing that has to be more structured, regular, and into a certain goals, where human rights becomes a collective commitment. It is one identity, one ASEAN. Let us look at the ASEAN 2025 forging ahead together. This is just the timeline, the action line of the document, the blueprint, or political blueprint. Again, it is stated there, promoting the mainstream of human rights across the pillar. Encourage interaction, consultation among HRRC and also other sectoral bodies. I'd like to underline this one. Continue to work of HRRC in obtaining information from ASEAN member states. Obtaining information from ASEAN member states on the promotion and protection of human rights. So if you have already got an agreement with SIOM, with ASEAN, with all relevant bodies of ASEAN, which is related to development, you agree with some of agreement, okay, we would like to reach these goals this year in 2008, for example, under the chairmanship of Singapore. What will be then the indicators of the human rights achievement that can be agreed and can be discussed within HRRC and the member This is the power of HRRC, which is not yet fully implemented until now. Yeah? We tried, I tried 3 years or 4 years ago, but it still has to be developed. Now we go to the ASEAN Economic Community. I don't have to repeat again, but I'd like to underline this. Resilience means we're going to have a discussion about that. Resilience, inclusive, it is not only resilience of business, but it's also the resilience of the people. The resilience of the people. Who are the people? The people, particularly the most vulnerable groups. People-oriented and people-centered. Another area of cooperation in the context of ASEAN, which is very much related with the human rights, is narrowing development gap program. It was started in 2009, I guess, right? But it will have to go and grow, to become really, how are you going to fill the development gap from the perspective, from the indicator of human rights? I don't think there has been any discussion on that. Okay. Now we look at the national development gap from the right to development lens. The IAI Work Plan 2016-2020 of food and agriculture, trade facilitation, MSMEs, education, health and well-being. Well, this needs distinct from the R2D lens, the empowerment element, including women and other vulnerable groups, participation, accountability, and oversight mechanisms. Right? I'm almost done. Main sectors of open investment in ASEAN. Look at the main sector of investment. These are a high risk of human rights. The fisheries, I don't have to tell how many problems we have in this region. The IUU related the illegal fishing, forestry, mining. I don't have to tell. We all know this. But this is a very high risk. Have we addressed this high risk? It was, again, I echoed what has been proposed by Dr. Siri yesterday. High risk can be only assessed by a human rights impact assessment. So the tools are available. So I'd like to propose a concrete way to go where the NDG, which is represented by 10 member states responsible for the ASEAN Community Council as reporting line, could actually invite HRRC, HWC, and ASEAN to ensure that ARRB approach based on our own right to development commitment to be implemented and evaluated. Second, SEOM could invite relevant sectoral bodies, after this, in the coming months, in the different pillar, particularly SLOM, ASUR, and HRRC, to include the element of labor, environment, and rights in the trade negotiation. I stop there. Thank you so much.